So fear is a mental, emotional, and physical state that we all experience in our lives in certain situations. When we're young, it's monsters under the bed. It's going to the basement when it's dark. It's fireworks, a whole myriad of things when we're young. Now, luckily, we grow out of many of these fears, but as we get older, I think we add many to our list, and many different kinds of fears that we try to avoid. And the real question is, what do we do when we identify a fear? Do we avoid it, or do we embrace it and try to figure out a way to make that a strength? So today, I'd like to share with you a story. And this story occurred about 4 years ago. This is when I still lived in Wichita. And it was when I was learning to fly an airplane. Now, I seek out adventure. I like adventure. It doesn't really bother me. New experiences, things that I've never done before. I really enjoy that. So I thought, I have some disposable income here. I can go and learn how to fly. And I found an instructor, got an airplane set up. We're all set to go. And I start my training. Now, it went quite smoothly. I thought, this is good stuff. Growing up in an aviation town, seeing planes fly around all the time, I'm actually flying this plane. We're going up, we're doing power on stalls, power off stalls, steep turns, fairly disconcerting things if you've never done that in an airplane, which in a commercial airliner, you better not be doing those things. Well, we hit a brick wall eventually in this training. We got to the point where we had to do crosswind landings. Now, in Kansas, the wind is a fairly common thing. So crosswind landings is something you have to get good at doing. Now, when I went up on my first lessons, we would typically go up on pretty calm days. It was cool mornings, wind's not really blowing. So I was like, I got this landing thing down. I'm ready to roll. But we went up on a windy day. It was quite turbulent. And so we get up there, and we had gone through all the pre-flight discussions around what is the crosswind landing going to be like. I've got this. Well, I tell you, I have never experienced something that instilled fear in me like this event. We're going to land at this runway. I'm looking over here. The runway is over here. We have to crab so much because the wind was blowing so much to keep ourselves lined up with the runway. Now, I'm like a cougar on Top Gun. I am frozen. I am frozen. I need Maverick to come save me. And I have an instructor right next to me. I'm completely safe. I am frozen. And when you're flying airplanes, the thing that you really learn is to become comfortable with that airplane and to make that airplane do what you want it to do. So that requires nice, smooth movements of the body. Inputs into the rudder, inputs into the yoke, completely predicting what that plane's going to do as the wind's buffeting you and you're having to make these fine adjustments. Well, I'm frozen like a rock with an instructor over here going, Mitch, more power, we're not going to make it to the runway, more rudder, we're not lined up, blah, blah, it's just this white noise. Well, needless to say, he was my Maverick. He took over and landed that plane. I was just completely frozen. So he's like, well, let's do that again. So we go up. We do this a few times. We're in Newton. And we said, all right, I'm done. We fly back to Wichita. And I land. We had more of a into the wind approach at that point. And I get out of that airplane, and I was kind of doing the final things to get the plane secured at the airport. The instructor goes inside. I am soaked with sweat. And it's about a 60-degree day. My shirt is soaked with sweat. I'm not a big sweat person, so this is profound. And again, the instructor got inside, I go over, and I throw up in the bushes. I have never in my life experienced an event where I'm paying well over $100 an hour to learn how to do something that's supposed to be fun as a hobby, and I'm throwing up in the bushes. What is that? Who does that? So after that day, I had to really do some soul searching around. Is this really something that I want to pursue? Is this really the right thing to be doing with my money, with my time? It's going to make me that nervous to do this. Why am I doing it? And I was able to think through that process and go, well, I've already spent all this money, because I'm kind of a money guy, so this whole logic is I can't not finish at this point. So I persevered, and I went back, and I soaked a number of shirts and flew way more hours than any private pilot should ever have to fly to get their private pilot's license to overcome that fear and to become good at it. And by the end, I was actually wanting to fly on windy days because I found that to be a challenge that I had overcome and a fear that was no longer. So I encourage all of you, if you find fears in your life, don't run from them. Find a way to overcome those fears, because I can assure you that that challenge and that adventure of overcoming will create memories of a lifetime.